Welcome back to the broadcast here on highground.tv. I'm Woodasip. With me, the honorary High Ground member for at least today. Maybe more.
Probably more. We got like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
so
2
I'm
weeks.
sure it'll happen again.
Is Basecamp joining me here from the wonderful Zary bedroom. But we've got Isurus going up against Team eHug. And, last game didn't work out so well for Isurus. They lost to CNB.
CNB looking good?
Yeah, they looked quite good. And Isurus at this point 0-4. I mean, this probably isn't definite, but I would argue they probably have to win this game to have a chance to advance. Maybe not absolutely, but it's getting to that area.
Yeah, you're getting towards the point where I think you almost have to win out.
Yeah, because they've lost. They've lost to some good teams still, so I guess maybe they could win out.
Potentially.
But they have a hard path ahead of them.
Yeah, so there's
really that's what we're getting down to.
Yeah. This is tough. They pretty much have to take this game, I think. And eHug, they're looking all right. They obviously had that def loss to start the day off, which is a little bit unfortunate. Apparently, I read some comments about that they've been trying. They knew that whoever it was, I think it was Pandego that had
Cakes.
No, it was Cakes. Sorry, he's the only one that's not at the house, right? So
yeah.
Cakes had an interview for an internship or something like that that he had to go to. So he went to that, and they'd known about this for a little while. So they were really trying to reschedule their very first match because obviously they were playing in the first round, and not every team is playing in the first round, but admins didn't get back to them. They tried again today to ask if the game could be moved. It didn't end up happening, so yeah, they ended up suffering a def loss. They lost their second game as well, which was up against eHug. And then in round 3, we're also covering that game. They took out Shadows. So they're 1-2 so far. Things looking all right. A win here helps to put them sort of more firmly in the middle of the pack and sort of heads them in towards those bigger matches. I think they're playing more of the big teams tomorrow as opposed to today. So your Sna, your Liquid, your Revenge, I think those are they'll be facing up against them tomorrow. So
absolutely.
A good day today is going to be pretty important.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. But let's pop ourselves into the draft here. And it is underway. So we've got the Tree and Protector as well as the Mirana for Team eHug. And on the other side of things, we've got the Invoker and the Shadow Demon for Isurus. Bans all pretty standard. Naga Batrider, Sand King, as well as the Lycan. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think anything too surprising just yet. The Train Protector, I think, is maybe a tiny bit better on the Radiant side than he is on the Dire. Your towers are more easily defensible just because the angles of approach for each team tend to be slightly more even or slightly better for the Radiant than they are normally on the Dire side. So I think that's a little bit of an advantage as far as that's concerned. Keeping your mid-tier 1 tower up for a long time, especially as the Radiant, is a really nice way to keep control over Roshan and just control over the map in general. So that's looking all right. Mirana, we're seeing her as much games as we're seeing her in pub games. I feel like she's a scourge on the Dota scene right now, but I don't mind watching too many Mirana games. I hate playing against it. I hate getting arrowed, but we're just sitting here casting, so the players can deal with that, and we can enjoy some maybe some more Jigglebilly arrows.
Yeah, he had some plays. Some seriously good plays in that game that we saw earlier today. And I was just checking out the win rate of Mirana. I know it was quite good at the beginning of the patch. Still almost 59%. So
that's pretty good. Is that 6.80?
This is just 6.81.
Oh, wow. That's actually that's a lot of games for just for 6.81.
149 wins and 106 losses, 255 total. That is quite a lot of games. So she's been, I would bet, most games at this point. And we don't see her banned too much. And, you have to wonder, at what point do you really say, all right, maybe we should ban her?
I think certain teams play it so well that it starts to warrant bans, especially if you have a team that's really comfortable running it mid, carry, and support. And it's one of their
Sigma was playing.
Yeah, one of their really big comfort heroes, effectively. I think then that's when it starts to become ban-worthy. But up until that point, I think you still want to deal with the Lycans, the Bats, the Naga Sirens, if you don't have particular ways to deal with the Naga, like we were talking about in the draft for the previous game. And we have been, like, Mirana, if she doesn't get picked up in the first round, she's likely to get banned out in the second round of bans. So I don't think she's in a bad spot. And yeah, again, I don't mind seeing her too much, though. It is almost every single game, it feels like a little bit. And Team eHug just go for the heal strat. So they've got Witch Doctor and Train Protector. not a bad support duo. If you manage to get some nice farm up on the Witch Doctor, which you can be a little bit greedier since the Treant Protector is so item independent, he can basically go with just brown boots and hardly anything else for the whole game, which gives the Witch Doctor a little bit of space to farm the Aghanim Scepter. There's obviously some nice teamfight synergy between the Overgrowth and the bouncing Death Ward.
Yeah, absolutely. And something to note here, Team eHug definitely seen Isurus play before. They ban out the Meepo. Fullback has a fairly disgusting Meepo.
Okay.
I've seen him go 0-5 and then win the game. So
wow.
he is he's quite skilled, and they're just going to ban it out. They do not have a great team to deal with Meepo at the moment, so I think it's a smart ban. And Isurus, totally comfortable picking that in this fourth slot. I've seen them do it a couple times in the ADL, and it does work out quite well for them. They ban out the Wisp as well as the TA, and on the other side, Centaur is the other ban, in addition to the Meepo. And we've seen Wisp do okay.
Yeah, he's
recently.
done all
I mean,
right.
that last game was a little ugly, but I'm not sure that was entirely his fault.
Wisp is so much about team coordination as a hero. Like, it's not really a test so much of the Wisp player. Mechanically, Wisp has a couple of quirks here and there as far as how you play him. Microing the spirits is definitely a skill, and there's a couple of other factors as well. But it's more just you relocate timings, your communication as a team, knowing that everybody is on the same page at the same time, and that's where Wisp can sometimes look a little bit underwhelming. Like, top well-coordinated teams still make him look really
broke.
good. Yeah, damn broke. If like Fnatic, you don't give those guys Wisp. It's just not.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Not happening. So it's just they ban out the Templar Assassin, probably suggesting that it is going to be your mid Invoker, just going to set him up a little bit better.
Yeah.
As far as that matchup is concerned.
That's a rough matchup for the Invoker.
Yeah, even before the Dazzle was picked up, I think it was probably likely to be just your core Wraith King here. So just picking up some farm, maybe the Blink Dagger, go for that Blink Blade Mail Mjolnir build that is pretty popular. And a nice hero to have, especially with something like one of your semi-carries mid, so your Invoker or your Templar Assassin, somebody that can come in a little bit later in the fight and use the space that the Wraith King blinking in creates to just absolutely wreak havoc with everything. So a nice little bit of a strategy there put together by Isurus, and Team eHug just going to add some more team fight to the mix. They end up going for the Shadow Fiends. So
this is a hero that Justin plays quite a bit.
Okay.
He's very, very familiar on the Shadow Fiend, and he performs pretty well on it. He's very good at using, the Radiant camps. So they will have that advantage, and, there is some very, very easy game potential, I feel like, on him, though. With the Shadow Demon, that's a pretty good setup for Cold Snap, Sunstrike. So I do think Justin's going to have to be careful in this lane, but it's definitely something he's familiar with. Really, I would say Shadow Fiend is really how Justin became a sort of a popular player in the NA in-house scene.
Okay.
So it's definitely one that he's familiar with. And Isurus, they're going to round out their lineup with Weaver after banning out the Tidehunter. The new Tidehunter is very good.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
The new Tidehunter is really nice.
The damage reduction is insane.
You get some stacks up as well, and you can go clear Ancients as Tide. It's just no problem. Isurus finished things off with the Weaver. It could just be an aggro tri. Shadow Demon, Wraith King, Dazzle as the tri-lane, Invoker for Sunstrike support.
That sounds quite good.
And then Weaver holding down the solo safe. So I think that could be all right. And eHug, up until the fourth pick, I was about to say, well, because you're worried about the ganks on the Shadow Fiend, you're maybe considering putting him safe lane and putting the Mirana mid instead. But you don't really want the Shadow Fiend to be in the tri-lane if you're getting aggressively tried. So if they think that Isurus are going for an aggro try, they probably have to put the SF mid and put the Mirana in the tri-lane. If they think that Isurus are just going to be going defensive tri-lane and the supports are going to put more emphasis on trying to roam mid, then they probably have to try and put the Mirana there. So for eHug, actually getting a little bit of early game scouting information here could be absolutely crucial to how their lanes play out, because they have two completely different setups, which would be better depending on whether or not Isurus go aggressive or not.
Yeah, and to be honest, I actually really, really like the idea of an aggressive lane here. They could go defensive and just try to get a lot of kills, but we've seen Shadow Demon and Dazzle. It's very, very powerful, to say the least. I mean, you just have a ton of damage you can output extremely quickly.
Yeah, it does kind of look like they're just going defensive at the moment, but I really would have liked to see a little bit of potential aggression. They could even just have the Weaver on the off lane and just do that little trick where you have the supports run down, they hide over here in the trees, they pop out at level 1, they kill the opposing safe flaner, which in this case, could be the Shadow Fiend, and then they just go back to doing their own thing otherwise. And while it doesn't look like Isurus are going to be going for an aggro try, I really like heroes like Wraith King as your lead farmer in the aggressive tri lane, because normally in the aggressive tri lane, your initiation lies in the supports. So if the supports back off, the opposing carry can move forward to try and grab some CS. But in the case of the Wraith King, he's equally good at initiating. So if he's sitting at the creep wave, his supports can be a little bit further behind him, but the opposing carry does still need to be careful about approaching, because there's always the potential for that Wraithfire Blast to start things off. But discussion's not too relevant, since it does look like Isurus are just going to be going defensive here. Though eHug not really getting too much scouting information out, they're actually going to end up sending the Shadow Fiend over towards the mid lane. So it looks like Isurus are going to get thrown a bit of a bone here as far as being able to maybe set up some ganks on the SF.
Yeah, I think it should be fairly easy for them. Weaver does pick up the double damage rune bottom, which should be pretty helpful, and Isurus have settled in on this top lane, and I'm not sure what they're expecting, but I don't think they're expecting just the Darkseer up here.
No, I think they know that it's the Darkseer. They just need to make sure that they get in there right at level 1 and try and zone him out so he doesn't get that level 2. If he gets to level 2, he's going to be a huge nuisance in this lane. And the fact that fullback got an inferior block to Cakes means that the wave starts off in a really safe position where the supports can't get around the creep wave and zone him out, and that pretty much means guaranteed level 2 for the Darkseer. So it's a little play, but this is going to have a really big impact as far as how this top lane plays out. So just nicely done by Cakes, and a bit of a misstep from fullback.
DDX going to be in the mid lane up against Justin. Looks like this matchup's going quite well for Justin, as he's sitting at 5 CS, and a lot of CS here under the tower available for DDX, just a matter if he can get it. Looks like he's going to be just fine. Picks that up nice and easy.
Yeah, but the SF getting a good start as far as souls are concerned is going to be pretty good for him. Like you said, he's over on the Radiant side, so once he gets the Shadow Raises up, he can just start spamming his way through the jungle, getting some stacks going on. So I think things are looking pretty good. It's a pretty farmy mid lane matchup, honestly, between these two overall.
Leech Seed going to go off here on Zerto. He's taking a lot of damage from this. I always underestimate Leech Seed. Everybody does. A lot of damage. Yeah, I think everybody does. That's part of the problem with Treant, and why some teams just don't fare well against him at all. But I really want to see this Dazzle Shadow Demon link up and go get some kills. I think, Wraith King should be just fine in this lane. He put a level 1 aura, so he's going to be okay and be able to recover some HP from that Ion Shell.
Yeah, it really looks like eHug were expecting the aggressive lane. They put down a lane ward, bottom lane, in a position that would be unlikely to be dewarded. And then they send the Shadow Fiend mid. So those are the two big clues that they were expecting aggression, but it looks like things are kind of just working out for them overall. The other big reason that they were probably expecting an aggro lane is they put the Shadow Fiend mid, but they haven't put any wards to cover him. So it does open up a little bit for these rotations to make their way in. And Cakes needs to be really vigilant in terms of just calling any potential missings on the supports and keeping his eyes over in the jungle as much as possible.
Uh-oh. This doesn't look great for Justin. There, he's caught. There's a living armor on top. Justin is trying to make it out of here. Cold Snap goes through. Doesn't look great. He's still taking a lot of damage, and he is going to go down here. Man, Disruption and Cold Snap. It makes it impossible, really, to get away from that.
Ganking the Shadow Fiend means it feels like it means very little, honestly, at this point in the game. Like, he's just, unless they can get the kills and take the towers, they're not going to shut him out of the Radiant jungle. And then he's still going to be able to get farm. Cakes holding on to Surge top lane. There's going to be a disruption. Do they have enough stun?
Fire Blast. Trying to make it out of here. Doesn't look good for Cakes. He's going to go down as well. And easy set of kills for Isurus.
Yeah, the support's working out pretty well. And the fact that the Radiant wards are down on the bottom side of the map.
Sheep. Oh, Jiggle Billy! Darts forward. They're going to kill the Weaver. He just got way too greedy. He was just man fighting with the Witch Doctor, and then Jiggle just jumps in, man.
The jiggler.
The jiggle factor.
Yeah, it's
the jiggle factor. It's real, dude.
Well, he had disruptions to set up all of his arrows in the first game. So Jiggle saying like, "Look, I don't need the disruption. I got this." Landing the arrows.
The jiggle factor.
So far, 1 for 1. We'll maybe keep a tally depending on how the performance goes.
He's also got 25 CS.
By far the leader. It's not expected that the Wraith King gets everything up against the Darkseer, especially as we mentioned, the Darkseer got a pretty fast level 3, so he's applying a lot of pressure to the creep wave, and the supports are away. So I think the Wraith King isn't expected to necessarily keep the pace with the Mirana, but
Jigglebilly has gone for treads. A bit unusual. Normally you see face boots, but
it's a preference thing.
It's sort of like TA. You kind of just pick your preference, I guess.
Yeah, if you are really diligent about tread swapping, it's a really nice way to stretch your mana pool a little bit further on the Mirana. So I think that's the one big consideration as far as the Mirana play is concerned.
Yeah, he has picked up the Bassi as well. So
Cakes is an Invis rune over on the Shadow Demon.
They're gonna initiate. There we go. Finally, they go through. There's a Sunstrike here as well. He's gonna come out, get nailed by that. Is there enough damage? The living armor gonna help keep him alive. That's good.
Yeah, he's got plenty of regen. He just needs to get to the side shop to be able to finish up this Soul Ring, and he can actually. Is he gonna go back? I mean, he is out of mana, but he could just pick up the Soul Ring and I think maybe continue in the lane. But no, looks like Cakes has had enough. There is a little bit of an incentive to stay in the lane. It just frees up this side of the jungle a little bit more for the Shadow Fiend. You don't really want the Darkseer taking the stacks away from him. So we'll see what Cakes does. This is a pretty important decision, whether or not he goes back to top lane to keep pressuring the Wraith King, or if he just tries to secure safe.
Zerdo. Oh. Jigglebilly Gaming.
Doesn't even look at the kill. Knows that he has the second star.
It's like
guaranteed.
Peace. Cool. I mean, cool people don't look at explosions, right? So
exactly.
That's basically what Jigglebilly just did. And this top bottom lane going quite well for them. They've got the Sentry here. I'm Sheep has done a great job setting up these kills. You know, trying to get in the initiation. Justin in the mid lane, though, he gets disrupted. Is there enough damage? He died last time. The living armor isn't going to be enough. He's going to get away. Moonlight Shadow. Is that enough to save him? They drop the Sentry Ward. It looks like he is going to be alive, and they even try to turn this around. Shadow Demon, he's going to go down, punched, and then raised down by Justin, building up that soul count, 28 souls. And something I've noticed about Justin is he is just very good at getting that souls up to max as soon as possible.
Yeah, and look, 30 for 5. Justin's actually doing really well for himself in terms of CS, and I mean, he got punished once. That one kill that ended up happening as the Shadow Demon rotated in, but they turned around the second one, and Shadow Fiend's on track. Jiggle is more than on track as far as the bottom lane is concerned. And while the Weaver has some levels, I always worry a little bit about offlane Weaver. I think things might be alright if fullback can get a reasonably quick blink and he can start moving around and they can give the safe lane to the Weaver instead, but unfortunately the Invoker's not really looking to move around a hell of a lot. Maybe he can head into the jungle once he has his double Forge Spirits and they can give the lane to the Weaver, but the Weaver needs some way to catch up this game. You can't just say, oh, the Weaver has levels and he's going to have an impact. The hero needs farm pretty much 100%.
Yeah, and there's a lot of farm for a bunch of these heroes, to be honest. We've got the Invoker, whose Midas is enough to be finished. And fullback just picked up his as well, so that's 2 Midases that are going to be done before 8 minutes.
Yeah, so it's going to be 2 Midases for the Dire. Looks like Jiggle is just going for an early to mid-game oriented build here, so not going to be going for the Midas. Darkseer, pretty standard Darkseer build from him. And Justin, I wonder if we'll see a Midas out of him this game.
What do you think about Midas on SF?
I don't mind it, honestly. It's just another accelerator.
I like it quite a bit.
Just gives you the extra level. I don't think it's necessary. He flash farms really quickly regardless, but he becomes a much more dominant force in late game. And he doesn't mind the attack speed so much either. I mean, it's just straight up attack speed, but Shadow Fiend kind of has the damage from Necromastery that it still increases his DPS by quite a bit. So I'm not opposed to it at all.
Zerdo is not doing well in this bottom lane. You already sort of touched on it, but he has 7 CS and 2 deaths. Level 4. Now he has an Invis rune. Is that enough to get him back into this? He's going to run into 2 heroes. There's no detection down for the Radiant side, but he needs to be careful, man. Sheep drops down a Sentry in lane. They're being very... They really want to kill this. Oh, he's going to try to get the courier. Oh my god, is he really not going to get it? Oh my god. Wow.
Elgato lives.
Elgato, dude, he's superpowers.
Yeah, way too powerful. Look at that cape. So, oh, he's still hunting for it.
Jeez.
What are you doing, Zerdo? He does have a TP scroll.
Coming over.
Oh, this could be really dangerous if he goes for the TP. There's gonna be a...
Oh no! Shadow Shaman finds him. He went for the TP. They drop a Sentry. Zerdo getting punished so brutally this game.
Oh man.
Sheep gonna pick up that one, but
This
It's a Midas for Justin.
This is a weird Witch Doctor build, I have to say. Like, most of the time we have been seeing Witch Doctor a little bit more recently, but for the most part, people have not been getting Maledict. They've been focusing on picking up the Voodoo Restoration instead. And I think for the most part, I agree a little bit more with the Voodoo build. People don't really let Maledict do its thing. Like, very rarely will you throw a Maledict on someone. Oh, it's actually going to go on the Shadow Fiend. Justin in some trouble. Living Armor comes in, keeps him alive, and this is a really deep dive from Isurus. Raze is going to slam down the Shadow Demon, and now DDX and Pepita are just going to have to try and make a headlong retreat. Nobody moving in to cut them off, so they are going to be okay. But that's a really aggressive movement, and a lot of time used up for Isurus to just give away a kill.
Yeah, absolutely, and really, I mean, that's 2 in a row, really.
Yeah.
They just gave away 2 kills for nothing, and eHug looking to be in a fairly good position in this game.
Is he going to throw the arrow? No. Okay, never mind. So he was staring down DDX.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I think so, but maybe summed up the mana and decided, yeah, okay, so he couldn't land the arrow, leap, and Starstorm. So, and he needed all 3 to be able to kill the Invoker if he landed the arrow. So I think he just decided, well, I can't do it, so I'm just gonna go and hit some creeps instead and save my mana for later opportunities.
Yeah, and he's up to 65 CS, 2 kills. He's top of the net worth.
He's doing very well for himself.
Zerdo's now level 6, so it's gonna be quite a bit harder for them to kill him. They're gonna have to burst him down, which is definitely a possibility. I mean, if they get a long duration arrow and he gets in range for the double Starstorm, seems like a pretty good kill for them. And
yeah.
Sheep's coming over. That might be just what they're doing. Well, they want it. They want it, dude.
Sheep's got this tango. You can go for... Oh, it's already... Is it already cut down? Looks like it's already cut down.
Yeah, it's already cut.
So.
Oh, Zerda's gonna get out of here.
Well, Zerda's still just... He doesn't have a home at the moment, unfortunately. This Wraith King needs to get his Blink Dagger up and then do something. Wraith King, meanwhile, is sauntering around on 10 HP on top lane. Cakes wants to pop that ultimate.
Get him, dude.
Give him the drive-by. Yeah, never mind.
You run by him.
You run past, you clip him with the Ion Shell, and then away you scoot.
Just keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could get stunned. You could honestly die. Oh, but Cakes, he's going for it. He's going for the Dazzle instead.
Oh, he wants Pepita. There is no Shallow Grave. Cakes is going to get the res. Needs Surge, though. He is so slow. Going to get disrupted. Well, Sunstrike coming in as well. Cakes. Oh, goodbye. Shadow Demon. Going to get that one, but...
Catcher Sunstrike. Pretty strong.
Quite good.
Okay, so Invoker has moved his way into the jungle, so I'd really like to see the Weaver maybe try and take advantage of this.
Oh, Jiggle now is going to go for a Midas. So 2 Midases per team.
No, I think it's fine. Just
yeah,
seeing the way that the game is playing out for Isurus, the kind of builds that they're going for, I don't think that going for the Midas is an unreasonable response at all. The other option, of course, is just to get the fast mech up on the Darkseer. Maybe just pick up, your one early game item for the Mirana, and then just start taking down some towers. But the Shadow Fiend is already kind of committed to a slightly more mid to late game oriented build, so
yeah,
I don't think Jiggle farming for an extra 15 minutes with this Midas is going to matter too much.
Yeah, eHug looking pretty okay to play this game. Decently passively at this point. I mean, they've really neutered Zerdo's effectiveness, so they don't have to worry too much about the Weaver at this point. Fullback does have a Midas and 1600 gold, but they have decent heroes like you were talking about in the draft to deal with that, so I think this is just... This game's going to be pretty passive for a while, I think.
Yeah, they definitely need to, they need this Weaver to be relevant. And that could be the one factor that, eHug right now are completely writing off the Weaver, and with good reason. But, again, I think if the Wraith King goes for a Blink Dagger as his next item, and he starts moving with the supports to get kills with Sunstrike support, then the Weaver could all of a sudden just start securing a lot of farm up on the top lane. So that's going to be the one big potential catch-up mechanic for Zerdo this game. And it is worth pointing out that Isurus, while they made those aggressive moves earlier and they didn't really find any kills, it did work out very nicely as far as getting some ward placement down. So they've got some really good information as to what's going on over at mid lane, and Isurus maybe a little bit optimistically heading to the Roshan pit. It is going to get scattered out by an arrow from Jigglebilly there.
Yeah, Jigglebilly just tossing in that vision arrow, would really like to disrupt that, and he does do so. I mean, there's the medallion up on Dazzle, so they can do it decently quickly. 2 Forge Spirits at this point as well, so things seem to be going pretty well still for eHug. Justin is completely content to be farming up here. He is full up on souls, 100 CS at 13 minutes. He's been taking really good advantage of those Radiant camps, and as a result, he's just sailed ahead in the net worth.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll start trying to make some plays once this BKB is online, or if they'll maybe just continue farming. The BKB is of course nice to have at all stages of the game against the Wraith King stun, against Invoker's entire arsenal, but we shall...
Oh, they're going top. There's a Death Ward fullback. He does not have res. Sheep, man. He's just delivering huge this game.
Yeah,
this is much more active play than we're used to seeing from him too, and it seems to really be paying off.
Yeah, eHug, not EG, what am I doing? eHug finding a lot of kills all around the map, getting some good pressure down, and Isurus, I mean, we've seen them try and make the plays, but it just hasn't worked out. It just
seems like they dive and die.
Yeah, they tried for the courier, that could have been a big play,
yeah.
Didn't happen. Sheep was there to put a stop to that one. They tried to go for that other kill all the way back by the tier 2, that wasn't gonna work out either, so eHug offering up a little bit of a trade here. I think there's a glyph available for both sides, yeah, both gonna be popped at the exact same time.
Yeah, so we'll see if they actually end up trading here. They've got the Fort Spirits going for them, but it seems like there's just more damage in the top lane. And are they going to TP back and defend this? Yes, they are. The glyph already used. They need to move forward. Paralyzing cast going out. Cakes is here too. He's dropped out the Ion Shell, charging forward a little bit, moving forward, but fullback. He blinks in, drops off the Wraithfire Blast. Cakes, he is going to go down. There's a Moonlight Shadow, but unfortunately, the Sentry Ward drop. They're going to get the tower as well. Dazzle grabs that one, so arrow going out, though. Jiggle Billy, the Jiggle Factor. Papita's caught. He gets 4 staff back. Who has that one? The Invoker. And, oh my god, the cast.
Yeah, well, really big deal for Isurus there. I thought that they were going to end up losing the tower, and then the tier 1 mid was going to survive on like 50 HP and then just get healed straight back to full by the Treant Protector, but Isurus, they managed to stick around. They show off that shiny new Blink Dagger on the Wraith King, and it really works out nicely as far as securing those kills go. So Isurus finding a little bit of a handhold back into this game. Again, they will again make another attempt over at Roshan.
This one seems to be a little bit safer. Sheep,
a bit more successful. I think they might need the Wraith King, honestly.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, the Shadow Demon is in the area as well, and that's a Maelstrom for Jiggle Billy, so right on, and he's going to be going for a much more mid to late game oriented build.
Yeah, this is a pretty, like we talked about in the earlier games, if you go for the Deso on the Mirana, you're pretty much looking to close out the game right away. If you go for a Maelstrom or a Lincoln Sphere, it's a much more farming oriented item. The Maelstrom obviously really good because you have lightning procs, you clear out waves and camps a little bit faster. Lincoln Sphere, same kind of idea, you just are a little bit safer and you can spam Starstorm to your heart's content to be able to hammer out waves. But yeah, just going to end up being the Maelstrom decision this game. They don't really have anybody that's particularly impressive to throw a static charge on. Don't have your Timbersaw, don't have your Centaur, don't have your Clockwork, but still, Mjolnir's going to be a really nice item. No matter what. Yeah,
Zera moves forward. Oh, what an aggressive play. The Sentry Ward goes down immediately. Do they have enough to Jiggle Billy? Arrow, it somehow hits. Oh my god, Vacuum back, Deafening Blast, not enough. Justin gets that one. Now they charge forward. The Death Ward from Sheep. DDX is getting completely annihilated. Pandago drops the Overgrowth, and now they're moving forward on Pepita. eHug looks so good. There's the Shallow Grave. The Requiem is going to go out. Now fullback has used the Reincarnation. He comes back with full HP. Hellfire still on cooldown. There's the BKB activated by Justin. He just got it, but he's taking tons of damage. He's going to go down. It looks like Isurus, they're fighting back, but Jiggle Billy has come back to the fight. Leech Seed's going to go out on fullback. He's going to go down. Now Jiggle Billy just left to contend with the Shadow Demon and the Invoker. He pops a Moonlight Shadow. He wants an arrow. He wants to reinitiate. He does have enough for Leap Starstorm. Not going to go for it.
Not going to happen. Really nice defensive disruption from the Shadow Demon. In that fight, they were waiting for the Invoker to pop back up so that they could Requiem him. Justin didn't feel really secure on the timing, so he ended up canceling it one more time. The Invoker walked away, got defensively disrupted, and the Requiem did absolutely nothing to him. So a little bit of nice team play there from Isurus. The Wraith King showing off his strength as well. Just went in, soaked up a ton of spells, soaked up all the damage, slowed everybody down. Made space for the Invoker to pop back up and do his thing, though that was the Aegis lost pretty much immediately for Aegis. Oh, and Jiggle Billy just landing these arrows non-stop.
Dude, what a
mega
player.
Kill streak for him. He is doing
the Jiggle
so
Factor. You know, that Reddit thread said believe in Jiggle Billy, and you know.
It happened.
I tend to
It's
believe in
working.
Jigglebilly. After seeing his Marana performances, these other teams have been paying attention. I would not be surprised to see this banned out soon. Fullback, moving forward on Cakes. Really wants to get a kill here. Surge Juice, there's the Sunstrike coming in. Whoa! Cakes takes a crit as well. And now he is just very close to dying. Vacuum back, there's still a Hellfire Blast available. Sheep's here, has no levels in heal though. Moving forward, and Sheep drops the Death Ward on fullback. Not a single fuck given by Sheep. Still going out here, the Maledict damage. Is it going to be enough? It's going to be close, but I don't think so. Oh,
Boom!
well, never mind. Pop him, dude.
Yeah. Well, the Maledict was put on when he was full HP.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's a ton of damage right
Jeez.
there. And Sheep, I guess, showing off that if you run around looking for solo kills, the Maledict build is actually really worthwhile. I was, the point that I brought up earlier was that people don't really, like, in a team fight, you don't really put Maledict on somebody, deal a big chunk of their hit points, and then let them die to the Maledict. For the most part, you don't give the heroes that you've committed on the extra seconds to live, but, well, Sheep is making a case for maxing out the Maledict here and just using it to find kills in the smaller skirmishes, and it means that he can gank much more effectively with just one other hero at his side. And I think it's a good decision, especially because the Train Protector is often off doing his own thing. He's not the best ganking support, so Sheep kind of has to make up for it a little bit as far as the damage in these ganks are concerned.
The game's still slightly in favor of eHug, but only about 3,000 gold, and Invoker really keeping them in this, I think. He's done a great job of just continuing to farm up here. Secured himself a Blink Dagger to go with this Force Staff, so sort of a Dendy style build.
It's such an all-in build.
It's very all-in.
Yeah, if he blinks and doesn't get the Tornado Meteor Deafening Blast combo down perfectly and like kill one or two heroes, then he's put himself in a really compromising position. And there's just, again, there's always this potential that the Invoker, if he messes up in his positioning, he gets cask bounced or arrowed or anything like that, and he'll just die pretty much outright. And he does pick up a point booster now. Personally, not a huge fan of such an early Aghanim Scepter from the Invoker. By the time he gets it, which is actually pretty soon, he's still not going to have any points, or any real points in Wex. So none of his Wex-based abilities are going to be all that scary. I think I really would have preferred to see the beginnings of a Sheep Stick here instead from DDX. To me, the Aghanim Scepter is really your ultra late game core. It's your fourth or fifth item, not necessarily your third.
Yeah, obviously it gets much better when you have more points in Wax and you have more points, in all of them, so your spells actually do things.
Yeah, he can use an EMP, but to what end?
Yeah, 100 mana drained or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty mediocre, but it is going to be the choice from DDX here. Just entering into a little bit of a farmy section of the game right now. Jigglebilly has managed to finish up his Mjolnir, so things are looking alright for him. As far as the ward game is concerned, you can also just always look at the wards to get an idea of the overall position on the map, and both teams just sort of hovering around the river right now. eHug have managed to move a little bit further over into the dire jungle and place down a ward over
That is
here.
one hell of a ward.
The Tiki mask thing. Yeah, there's some really weird and wonderful wards.
Yeah, that's a bizarre one. That's one of the weird ones I've seen, I have to say. But Sentry going down here. I think Zerto's a little gun shy at this point. He's been killed a lot.
Well, they still haven't given him an enemy space to farm. Zerto just keeps getting sent to this offlane, and you're like, hey buddy, you do your best now. Like, you get what you can. But he's still really struggling. I think I really would have liked to see them give him the safe lane, or just some kind of priority in terms of farm. The Wraith King and the Invoker can jungle an Ancient so effectively that I don't really know why the Dazzle, for example, is picking up farm mid while the Weaver is languishing a little bit more bottom lane. Though he is picking up some CS here and there. And Moonlight Shadow going to be popped, but it looks like nothing going to come of that for you.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like they're quite in position to really make anything happen. Oh, there's the Ags, and since then all he's done is put 1 point in Invoke, so... Does have a quick invoke, but he's going to have a very limited variety of spells he can actually choose from.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice for the cooldown if you're going for this combo build where you need to very quickly chain together
3 or 4 spells.
Yeah, a bunch of spells right at the start of the fight.
Top lane. Is he going to go down here? The jiggle factor again. He disjoints the blast. It wasn't quite in the right direction, but... And he did it. Reincarnation going to go out here, but there's just no one to help follow it up. Does Jiggle have another arrow in just a second, but TP out. He's going to shoot the arrow just a little bit off. Good choice, though. He was aiming for this right here. So
yeah, sad story for the Wraith King. He's actually pretty close to level 16, and that would have been a much smaller loss had he
Yeah.
had that 60-second
Once you have the
cooldown
60
on the
second,
ultimate. Yeah.
instead of 160. Mid lane, though, Justin actually blew a Requiem on the Invoker and just didn't even kill him.
Is the Sunstrike available? I don't know.
Oh, it's up!
Here we go.
He went a very weird path. I'm not sure he's going to get him.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. There's no Bloodseeker this game.
He's going to farm up the stack here, and he's got a Helm Denominator, so just going to be looking to bring this to the late game as well. So eHug definitely on the same page here. Isurus, well, Zerto going to be building towards a BKB. That doesn't really help him much with damage. Will help him live through the fight a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, he can run to the back lines and peck away at the supports a little bit, but that's about it. We have been mentioning that Zerto's had a pretty hard time. I think you have to put Cakes in that basket as well. His performance this game has been, I don't want to say lackluster, but he has had a couple of extra deaths here and there. So much of it was just
my Jiggle Billy.
It doesn't stop.
Jiggle Billy.
It doesn't stop.
I mean, god damn, dude.
This guy, what a player.
This guy.
But yeah, I think a lot of it, again, as we talked about, it really looked like eHug set up their lanes anticipating the aggressive tri-lane. So they got thrown into a little bit of a flat spin when the defensive tri-lane came out, and that meant that Cakes didn't have your typical ward over in this region looking to scout out the supports and giving you the option to play more aggressively. And if he's used to that, if that's how they normally set up the off lane for him, then that does go a little ways into explaining how things have played out for him this game. And also, Justin has been taking the jungle for the most part, so it hasn't really been the situation where Cakes can sit back, relax, farm up the whole jungle himself, get those items online. That's just not really his role in this game. So while he does have, not that impressive farm, and he's had a couple of maybe not unnecessary deaths here and there, I think he's still sort of on track for what they need him to do. And now he's got the Blink Daggers, so they can be looking for Blink, Vacuum, into Requiem.
Definitely one of the strongest initiations.
Yeah,
they don't have a Sand King, unfortunately.
No.
To go with.
No Sand King, no Centaur, but they can vacuum everybody into a cask, and then,
oh my god.
Well, Witch Doctor, if he ever manages to get that Aghanim Scepter up, things could start looking pretty scary. They do have an Overgrowth to vacuum everybody into.
That's true. Yeah, that's almost as good. And well, that's another Roche that's stopped at the hands of Jiggle Billy, just tossing an arrow in there. The rest of the team is around, but looks like Justin is going to be going for a Butterfly.
I don't think it's not really a big surprise, especially because often with the Shadow Fiend in the lineup, you would have somebody that's more of a frontliner, but in this case, the Darkseer tends to start the fights off close to the back, and then he blinks in partway through. He's not really your true initiator, so the Shadow Fiend does need to be survivable enough to stay on the front lines for a few seconds and before the fight really gets underway. So I think this is the perfect item choice for him.
We've got a bit of a tift here over this Roshan. Bit surprising. Both teams really putting a lot of value on this, and Roshan's quite low.
Yeah, eHug just gonna wait out the weave here, I think, before they head back in and try and claim this.
Arrow gonna go out. Oh, Vacuum just a little bit late. That would have been a nice arrow. Tornado gonna go through. Doesn't catch too many. Mostly just the illusions. Now Justin moving forward, dropping the raises, not connecting too well, getting stuck. Body blocks by Cakes. Gonna pop the Requiem. Time lapse use. Immediately Death Ward coming out here. Reincarnation use for fullback. He's gonna try to bring down Sheep. There's the living armor. Jiggle misses an arrow. Bit weird, honestly. He doesn't do that much. But now fullback's moving forward. Hellfire Blast is available again. They're all invisible. They raise out. BKB used though. Sunstrike from DDX gonna bring down Jiggle Billy, who's hanging out in the back. And so far, it's 2-0. eHug haven't gotten a single hero kill.
Moving and fighting over that choke point against an Invoker is...
Oh, Jiggle Billy's buying back. Run, Jiggle Billy. Can he make it in time? Justin is trying to clear out some space, trying to carve a path. Sheep getting hit by the Hellfire Blast. Arrow going to go through, off the mark, trying to clear space into the Roche Pit. They're still fighting over it. And now Jiggle's going right in. Butterfly done for Justin. It's here.
Oh, this indecisiveness from both teams.
They have to finish. They're getting weave. They need to decide right now. They're still taking a lot of weave. Now the armor reduction is coming on. They vacuum them all onto the cliff. They force staff back. Invoker trying to make it out, but Justin brings down the Dazzle. Immediately Cakes with the huge play, and now they're all dead. The reincarnation coming back up. Fullback can't do anything against the whole team. The overgrowth, he's held in place. The Dazzle is bought back. He's shallow grids. What a huge play from Cakes with the vacuum to the high ground. Fullback goes down as well. That was one of the best vacuums I've seen in a really long time, as now Pepita is stuck all by himself. Jigglebilly moving forward. The Death Ward from I'm a Sheep. Insult to injury. Double kill for Sheep. And that's going to be an easy Roshan. But DDX is waiting in the wings. Can he get a steal? He goes in a bit too early. He's getting bashed. He gets the Aegis! He's going to die twice, but he still takes it away from
the force staff. He
eHug.
might be able to get out here.
Oh my god, no! Oh, he gets to the high ground! There's Requiem! Goes walk immediately, caught by Justin! What a series of events here in eHug versus Isurus. Oh my god, this is why we play the games. What an unbelievable series of fight. eHug loses the Aegis, but they kill all of Isurus almost twice. Who bought back? Oh my god.
So Dazzle bought back, just the 2 buybacks. The Jigglebilly buyback to start things off, the buyback from the Dazzle as well, but that vacuum.
That was unbelievable.
Cakes, that was some really nice play. Didn't even trap them, the trees got cut down, but they had the cask flying in right as it happened. They all got jammed. They tried to run as far away as they could, but eHug at that point had completely routed them. And that was just such a nice way to break the stalemate as far as that Roshan fight was concerned. And we were just saying
on Cakes,
yeah,
man.
we were just saying like, oh, Cakes hasn't had the best game, not the best performance, has kind of the farm that he needs, and well, Cake says, yep, that's exactly the farm that I need. I've got my Blink Dagger. I'm gonna win my team this fight. I'm winning my team this game.
Yeah, fullback now. He's level 16. Does have the Resurrection up already, but Jigglebilly darting forward. Starstorm. Down he goes, and eHug moving as a unit. They want to kill fullback again. Blink disabled. Vacuum back. Arrow gonna miss. Doesn't matter. Overgrowth use. He goes down, and eHug are just taking this game over their knee and breaking it in half.
You can't be out there with only the 1 ward on the map. Like, the only information that Isurus had at that point is, oh hey, eHug aren't at Roshan. That should surprise no one at that point. I mean, yes, you're looking at the lanes as well. Nobody's in the lanes, so yeah, Wraith King gets a little bit caught out. And that's 40 seconds of eHug looking to just chip away at the high ground. There is a buyback available on the Wraith King, but they don't have any initiation aside from him.
Cakes moves forward again! What a vacuum, man! Blinks forward, sets up a great fight, instantly kills the Shadow Demon, buys back. Wraith King buys back as well. He does have the res up now. He's coming back. Almost 7 seconds still for the res. Hellfire Blast out on Cakes. It's enough to push him back. The tower gets denied. But DDX, he darts forward. There's miscommunication in the ranks of Isurus. Sheep, he gets healed up by Zerto, who can't get anything done. The physical damage from the Death Ward. Now Hydra, he's running back. Cakes running him down, punches him. He's going to fall. Reincarnation again. The Wraith King's going to die for what seems like the millionth time in the last couple of minutes. Down he goes, killing spree for Justin and eHug, man. They look so good right now. They're going to take down the racks, and they're just in a commanding lead now.
Yeah, that was really nicely played by eHug. I think a little bit of a slip up from the Wraith King to start things out, getting caught out on the top lane, and they really get punished for it. So nicely done by eHug. They force it the buyback, and they're just going to keep on going. It's up to the Invoker.
Move forward. Tornado goes through. Ice Wall goes down. Not going to slow down the surge. Just Jiggle. Mech up, and looks like they want to continue sieging with the Wraith King down. They know he has no buyback. Justin just pounding away at this tower. Has a lot of damage at this point. Getting rid of those bugs. Weave going to go down. Maybe that's enough to push him back for a little bit, but eHug just grouping up here. They know they have a huge advantage. Even without that Aegis, they played that very well.
And wow, if you look at the graphs, like,
yeah, things just got out of hand.
Yeah, it was.
Holy shit!
It went from like nothing to 15k over the course of the last few minutes. You just look at the dots down the bottom. That's all eHug objectives and eHug kills. That's 1 dot for poor Isurus. So things have just completely spiraled out of control from them. Yeah.
Zerto just trying to farm up here, trying to make something happen.
The offlane Weaver, it's not really working. I mean, I think the other lanes needed to be crushing victories for this offlane Weaver to have the space that he needed, but you can't really guarantee that, and so now he's just kind of an underwhelming right clicker. I mean, like we said, he can run into the back of the fight, he can kind of look for the supports, but up against the cores, he's just not even scratching them. We're looking at what, 22k net worth up on Justin, Satanic, and Butterfly. How do you kill him? And even I'm a Sheep is more farmed than the Weaver at this point.
Well, that is just, it's not where
sad life.
Not where you want to be at. Treant, the only one below the Weaver at this point, and Man, I just can't believe that vacuum. What a setup. For eHug to just... I mean, the game was pretty even up until that point, and they just broke it wide open right there, and they're going to figure out a way to close this one out. They want to take this bottom tier, too.
Yeah, I think eHug are... They're all probably thinking of this, nodding to themselves, okay, things are
going well after that fight.
Things are looking really good, guys. Like, I'm sure if Cakes was there at the house, that I'll be getting some
they'd
pats.
be like, good job, dude.
Some pats on the back.
Capri
like
Suns for everyone.
yeah.
That's what Kalaga would say.
So eHug just going to slap down this tier 2 tower. No problem whatsoever there. And then Isurus have to try and make the defense up on the high ground. But so long as the Wraith King is trying to split push, eHug aren't going to be afraid. Because again, the Wraith King, while he's good initiation, he's the only initiation right now for Isurus.
He's all they got.
Yeah. He needs to jump in first.
Fire, and when he does, he seems to just die instantly. There's so much physical damage. EMP going to go down. So that deters them for about half a second.
Yeah, they need to coordinate so well between the Invoker and the Wraith King, and just take advantage of the team. Well, the only thing that Isurus can hope for is that the Wraith King blinks in, all of eHug collapse on the Wraith King to try and bring him down, and then DDX gets a 3 or 4 man meteor combo off. But eHug, they're being pretty disciplined in terms of how they're approaching this fight. Everybody's spread out. The heroes that have BKBs and leaps and whatnot at the front, ready to just be brought back. And just gonna keep on chipping away. So tier 3 down.
I mean, they get the tower for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely free. Well, I think a little bit of tier 1 went down top lane and some more creeps for fullback, but that's not a big deal.
Uh-oh. Please, base sheep. I want to see the best death ward ever here.
Let's do it.
This could be...
Oh, there's a blink on the Tree Protector as well. Vacuum into Overgrowth, into the Witch Doctor ultimate.
This is all I ever wanted.
All you ever wanted from a game.
All I ever wanted from a Dota game. And they're going to go back, try to push back fullback. And he is going to be pushed away, blinks away. TP's in the trees, and eHug just going to take a minute here to regroup. Roshan going to be up soonish. We don't know exactly when, but
sometime in the next
couple of minutes.
Yeah, so this is the 8-minute clock?
So this is the 8-minute clock, and then from here the blinking thing. That's where
we're
rest.
heading.
Yeah.
Okay. I understood the old one really well, and
yeah, this one is a bit harder to read.
I haven't taken the time to learn.
I think this one makes more sense overall, but it's definitely harder to read. I think.
Yeah.
The old one is pretty easy to read.
Yeah, I think the only problem with the old one was that there were 3 different possible clocks for the second stage.
Fullback. Rest in pieces, fullback. Overgrowth used immediately. Arrow coming in. Jigglebilly, he's not far behind. He's got himself a butterfly now, and he's just killing fullback. Reincarnation down. Do they want to go back in here? He blinks away. And, vacuum again! Cakes, is that going to be enough? Doesn't look like it. Since they used the Overgrowth before, not too much they can do. Cakes surges himself after being purged. He's going to run out of there.
I wonder if they can try and use the next 40 seconds to force their way up onto the high ground, or they can wait for the Darkseer to finish up his Hex. Actually, he's just gonna sell Soul Ring and just buy up the Hex. So they might still be able to head up onto the high ground within the next little bit. The Invoker, pretty hefty weight on his shoulders. He has to stall this out until the Wraith King has his reincarnation. But only 20 seconds to go.
For Justin too.
Oh my god.
The damage is real here for eHug, as they've got a 20k gold lead, 20k XP lead. And things are looking great for them at this point. Zerto just has not made an impact on this game. 0-7.
Oh, fullback.
Only 2 assists.
You don't want to be there.
This does not look good. Reincarnation's up in 3 seconds. Doesn't look like they're going to kill him before that, but he is definitely going down here. There's the lead sheet. I think they want to wait for the Overgrowth till the next life. And Jiggle going to get hellfired, but that is just not going to be enough, my friend. They don't even need... They don't need Overgrowth.
No.
They've got Jigglebilly. They've got Justin with the data listen. He is doing an unreal amount of damage at this point.
Yeah, really nicely played by Jigglebilly there. He knew that they had the kill without using the arrow on the first life, and he lined it up perfectly, so as the Wraith King popped back up for the second life, he just pops back up straight into an arrow. No opportunity to blink into the trees and TP out, no opportunity to do anything, and that's Wraith King dead for 50 seconds. Does have a buyback, and it's probably going to be forced out of him within the next 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, and man... Jiggle has just played so well this whole series. He is 6-1, 10 assists, 247 CS. farming up a Storm, getting a lot of solo kills on that Weaver. Really one of the reasons that Weaver's just been a non-factor this game. And, you know, you said earlier eHug counted out the Weaver as a factor, and they've continued to do so as he just can't really get anything together.
Yeah, the Weaver has just not headlined in this game at all. I mean, 0, 7, and 2. So it just goes to show that, you know, he's surviving through some fights. He's getting picked off otherwise, but just impact overall, pretty minimal.
Yeah, Sunstrike coming in somewhere. Oh, there it goes. He's going to hit on Jiggle Billy. Arrow sailing through. Gonna miss. DDX blinks forward. Justin, though, he turns on the BKB. Goes to work. They pop fortification. Zerto gets 2-shot. Goodbye. That wasn't even a crit. And, oh, that's a crit, though. Another 2-shot. Justin is just far too large for Isurus to deal with. He's just taking people and killing them.
He's large and in charge, for sure. So, eHug slapped in another lane of Vrax, looked to drift over towards the final lane, perhaps. Things looking pretty good. Fullback, blinking outside of the base. It's fullback versus the world, but I don't know what he can do. He's just being spotted out by a
delaying, man. This is a delay tactic.
They've got creeps in the base. I don't know why eHug just don't go slap the final lane of Vrax. I guess they're feeling, well, we don't lose the game if we back off when we chase down this Wraith King, so let's just go do that.
Hex used, move forward, lead sheet popped as well. Is fullback gonna make it out of here? It doesn't look good. This is a story we've seen before. There's the paralyzing cast, gets brought down. All the meanwhile, Jiggle Billy and Shadow Fiend are busy killing the Aegis. Overgrowth popped on fullback, and the Death Ward from Sheep brings him down. And this game looks pretty hopeless now for Isurus.
Yeah, it was more difficult than the previous kills because they didn't have their 2 big cores, but the rest of the eHug roster showing that they can still do it just by themselves.
A little part of the combo there, hits on Jiggle Billy, fullback, moves forward again. He bought back immediately, comes forward and dies instantly. That is not good. Not good at all. That was a bad dieback.
Yeah, that was a really bad dieback. 80 seconds dead. I think that's just it. And unless we see the largest Invoker plays ever, then maybe they can hold on for a little bit longer. But if Justin gets in range of you, you're dying.
You're dead.
In 1
yeah.
or 2 auto
I mean,
attacks.
he's critting for 900. He's running towards Hydra now, who was in 1 hit range. It's gonna take 2. No crit. Down he goes. DDX on the way out. Jiggle Billy gets another one to secure the game, and with it comes a GG from the Shadow Demon. What a goddamn game for eHug, man. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was really nicely played by eHug. So they tie themselves up 2-2 as far as their record so far for the American qualifiers here, and things looking pretty good. Unfortunately, Isurus, that's going to put them down at 0-5.
Yeah.
I think so that they're halfway finished, but they are looking pretty down and out so far. Might be able to pull it back, start taking some games off people here and there, but to my understanding, they've still got some pretty
screwed, blued, and tattooed, as the American saying goes.
Yeah, I think they've still got some pretty big teams to play as well. So
yeah, they haven't. I mean, they played a couple of the big ones, but that was a game I think that they needed to win if they wanted to advance. And
yeah, I hate to be a wet blanket, but I'm a little bit worried that. Can you imagine if eHug missed out on top 4? By virtue of the round 1 forfeit, that would be
awful.
That would be absolutely awful.
That would be awful.
Would be like I'm kind of hoping that either eHug just sweep the rest of their games and secure top 4 no problem, or things I hate to say
things go horribly wrong, but you don't want them to miss out because of that.
I would much rather they miss out for some other reason than they miss out because of that round 1 forfeit.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm there, man. I totally get what you're saying. But that's it for me and Basket for today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back here with Mott in, looks like around 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes.
Okay, and that's going to be NES versus Sna.
Yeah, that should be a fun one.
So we can get Mott to fanboy over Sna a little bit. I'm sure he'll have some nice things to say.
Yeah,
you can have an argument about Whitebeard.
Jeez.
I'm sure that'll go really well.
And we'll have a quick look here at the standings.
Is that refreshed?
It does not seem to be completely updated.
Okay, so it looks like we might actually still have some games.
Yeah, still games ongoing
right now.
Like.
Actually, let's just check in the client, right? Let's see what games are live. So,
Sna
versus Revenge still going on right now. Nothing else is up, so I guess we're probably just about to get to the end of those. The other round. What round are we in right now? This is round
I don't know, dude.
5.
Round something.
Yeah, I think this was just round 5.
Yeah.
Then, so, yeah, it's been a pretty exciting day of Dota so far. I think most of the results kind of going as people were expecting. But
CNB playing probably a bit better than most people expected.
yeah, I think CNB have been the one team that have really put on a good show today. Union obviously still have to play a lot of
They have a
really good
lot of,
teams,
I think it's a
so-
bit deceiving right now that they're in first because, yeah, like you said, they
Personally-
still have a lot. They've played pretty much all the lower tier teams.
Yeah.
in the qualifiers.
Liquid, though, they're 3-0 so far. They still have to play NAR, of course.
They
today.
beat SNA, they
But
beat
yeah,
CNB.
they beat SNA, they beat
and they beat
CNB, and they
Revenge.
beat Revenge.
Yeah.
So long as they take all of the games that they're expected, quote unquote expected to win,
Yeah.
then I think they're in a really good spot.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining me today on the stream. You guys are watching High Ground TV. You can follow this channel to know when we go live. Thank you guys for tuning in. And you can check out the rest of the NA home games, twitch.tv/team/TI4NA. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes.